press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to the video classes. Today let us move on to part 39 of some basic principles and techniques. In the previous class, we have discussed about naming of mono, di and polysubstituted benzene. Today let us move on to how to write the structural formula for the given IUPAC name of the compound. So, in these days we considered to give the IUPAC name for the given structural formula. Now, we have to write structural formula for the given IUPAC name of the compound. Now, let us consider what are all the steps we have to consider while writing the structural formula for the given IUPAC name of the compound. So, for that let us move on to the first example, that is the IUPAC name of the compound is given, that is 4-chlorohex 2-ene 1-ol all. So, this is the compound given. What is the IUPAC name of the compound given? 4-chlorohex 2-ene 1-ol. So, this is the compound IUPAC name of the compound given. For this we need to write the structural formula. Now, this is the given IUPAC name. So, I will rewrite this here, 4-chlorohex 2-ene 1-ol, 4-chlorohex 2-ene 1-ol. So, this is the name, IUPAC name of the compound given. What is the first step? First step is, in a given IUPAC name, on the basis of root word, first you have to write the carbon skeleton, and that carbon skeleton is the selected parent carbon chain. As you know that once the organic compound is given, first we need to select the parent carbon chain which containing maximum number of carbon atoms, multiple bonds and the functional group. Therefore, that always gives the root word in the IUPAC name and the ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, correct? So, therefore, on the basis of root word of the given IUPAC name, first we have to write the carbon skeleton, and that is the selected parent carbon chain. So, the first step is root word, hex is the root word. So, when hex is the root word, then we need to write the carbon chain which containing 6 carbon atoms. So, this is the first step, 6 carbon atoms, correct? So, this is the first step. On the basis of root word of the given IUPAC name, we have to write the carbon skeleton, and that is the selected parent carbon chain. After writing the carbon skeleton, we have to number the carbon chain from one end to the other end. So, for convenience, I am giving the number from this end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 6 carbon atoms. I have given a number to this, 4, this is 3. I am giving the number from right to left, okay. I am giving the number from right to left here. So, this is the carbon skeleton, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. Now, what is the second step? Numbering the carbon atoms in the given carbon chain. On the basis of root word, we have given the carbon chain now. This is the carbon skeleton. The second step, identify the primary suffix. Identify the primary suffix. On the basis of primary suffix, you have to place, if any double or a triple bond is there, on the basis of primary suffix, we can identify whether it is double bond or a triple bond. So, here the primary suffix is 2-ene. ene indicates the double bond. So then we can say that the compound containing one double bond, ene is there, therefore it is one double bond. And on the basis of the locant before the ene, we can indicate the position of the double bond. So on the basis of this locant of the primary suffix, we can say there is a one double bond and it is on the second carbon. Now on the basis of this primary suffix, place the double bond or a triple bond depending on the suffix. We need to place the multiple bonds on the appropriate carbon atoms in a selected carbon chain. So after writing the carbon skeleton on the basis of root word, the second step we have to place the double or a triple bond if it is present in a compound on a particular carbon atom in a given carbon chain. So on the basis of this 2-ene, we need to place the double bond between second and third carbon. We need to place the double bond between second and third carbon atom. So place the multiple bonds on the appropriate carbon atoms, on a selected parent carbon chain on the basis of primary suffix. So the first step is, on the basis of root word, we need to write the carbon skeleton and we need to number the carbon atoms from one end to the another end. Then what is the second step? We need to consider the primary suffix of the name. On the basis of primary suffix, we had to place the multiple bonds on the appropriate carbon atoms in a carbon chain. What is the third step? On the basis of secondary suffix, identify the functional group and place that functional group on the appropriate carbon atom. Remember, so secondary suffix ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು we need to identify the functional group first. ಆ functional group ನ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಲೋಕೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದೇ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಆ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪನ್ನು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸಫಿಕ್ಸ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದ functional group, and on the basis of locant before the secondary suffix, we had to place that functional group on the appropriate carbon atom on a carbon chain. But remember, if on the basis of secondary suffix, if the functional group containing carbon and if it is a terminal functional group, we need to consider that carbon, the locant. On the basis of the locant, we need to consider the carbon atom of a functional group is in the carbon chain itself. ಅಂದರೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸಫಿಕ್ಸಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೇನಾದರೂ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪು ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಕಂಟೈನಿಂಗ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಕಂಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ನ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ರೂಟ್ ವರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಕಂಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ರೂಟ್ ವರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಇಫ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್, ಇಫ್ ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ carbon containing terminal functional group. Now here on the basis of secondary suffix, what is the functional group? Identify the functional group. OL secondary suffix ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Therefore on the basis of secondary suffix in a given compound, OH group is present and that OH group is on the first carbon. Therefore write OH here. So since OL is the secondary suffix for alcoholic functional group and we identified the functional group as OH and it is on the first carbon, therefore I have given OH on the first carbon atom. Instead of one all, if it is one oic acid, one all ಬದಲಿಗೆ one oic acid ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ, instead of one all, if the secondary suffix is one oic acid, then so the first carbon itself is a carbon containing functional group agate. We need to change this carbon as oic acid is for COOH group. We need to convert this carbon 1 as COOH. That itself is a functional group. So ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಹೀಗೆ ಬರೀಬಾರ್ದು. So ಹೀಗೆ ಬರೆಯೋ ಹಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. We cannot give COOH to the first carbon. So we have to convert this first carbon itself as a functional group if it is one oic acid. Is that clear? If it is one all, Al ididre, you have to convert this first carbon to CHO. Clear? If it is amide anta ididre CONH2. You need to convert that carbon, locant nodkobeku, the same carbon as a functional group. Clear? If a functional group containing carbon, a carbon containing functional group adre matra ಅದೇ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ನಾವು functional group ಆಗಿ convert ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Is that clear? Now in the given name, what is there? What is the secondary suffix here? It is OL. Therefore the functional group here is OH. Separate ಆಗಿ ಬರೀತೇವೆ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ the functional group does not containing carbon. Now after writing the carbon skeleton, second step, we need to number the carbon atoms of the carbon chain from one end to the another end. On the basis of primary suffix, identify the multiple bonds and place the double or a triple bond on the proper carbon atoms on the basis of locant before the primary suffix. And the third step is on the basis of secondary suffix, identify the functional group, place the functional group on a proper carbon atom based on the locant before the secondary suffix, and if the functional group is carbon containing functional group, convert the same carbon as a functional group if it is carbon containing functional group. So now what is the next step? So next step is place. Now I will write the second step here. This is the first step, correct? First step is writing the carbon skeleton and numbering the carbon chain, and the second step is place the double bond between second and third carbon. So this is second and third carbon. We used the primary suffix here. And what is the third step? We placed the functional group. We placed the functional group on the first carbon, correct? Functional group on the first carbon. Now move on to the fourth step. First step is writing the carbon skeleton, numbering the carbon atom. Second step is position of multiple bonds on the carbon skeleton based on the primary suffix, and the third step is placing the functional group on the basis of secondary suffix. Fourth one, what is left now? Substituent group. So the priority goes in the same way. First comes functional and then the multiple bonds and then the substituent. On the basis of prefix, this is prefix, correct? On the basis of prefix, we need to place the substituent group on the appropriate carbon atom on the carbon skeleton. So main chain alli selected carbon chain mele we need to place the substituent group. So on the basis of prefix, and before the prefix we have locant. So 4-chloro, on the fourth carbon we have chlorine atom as a substituent. So rewrite this, and here we have double bond, and here OH group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See here 4-chloro, hex 6 carbon atoms are there, 2 in 1 on. So now the positions of all the substituent functional group and the multiple bonds. So these are the steps we need to follow while writing the structural formula. First step is we have to write the carbon skeleton on the basis of root word. So this is a root word, correct? And second step, we need to place the multiple bonds on the appropriate carbon atoms in a carbon chain on the basis of primary suffix. And third step, on the basis of secondary suffix, we have to identify the functional group and we have to place the functional group on the proper carbon atom in a carbon chain. If the functional groups containing carbon, then we need to convert the same carbon as a functional group. And the fourth step is on the basis of prefix, we need to identify the substituent, and on the basis of its locant, we need to identify the position of the substituent group, and we have to place that substituent group on the particular carbon. Now, what is the last step? Now, the last step is we need to fill this carbon chain with the appropriate number of hydrogen atoms. Now, we need to fill this carbon skeleton with the appropriate number of hydrogen atoms so that each carbon should satisfy its tetravalency. ಈಗ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಸ್ಕೆಲಿಟಾನ್ ಇದೆ, ಆ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಸ್ಕೆಲಿಟಾನ್ನ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. While filling it with hydrogen atoms with the appropriate number of hydrogen atoms ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನು appropriate number of hydrogen atoms ಅಂದರೆ each carbon should satisfy tetravalency. So now consider the fifth step here, and we have 6 carbon atoms in the chain. So we have 6 carbon atoms in a chain, correct? So I will rewrite the carbon skeleton. Here is Cl, correct? And in the fifth step, Cl and double bond COH, correct? This is the given compound now. And look at this carbon. This is first carbon, second carbon, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Okay. Now, this is the carbon. Already it forms a 2 bonds. Left with the 2 bonds. Therefore, it satisfies its tetravalency by taking 2 hydrogen atoms. We need to fill the 2 hydrogen atoms for the first carbon because already it forms a 2 bonds. Look at the second carbon. It already forming 3 bonds and left with only 1 hydrogen so that it satisfies its tetravalency. And fill this carbon 2 bond and plus 1, already 3 bonds are there. It is left with 1 valency, therefore we need to add 1 hydrogen, and here it already forms 3 bonds left with 1 hydrogen, correct? 4 bonds, and it already forming 2 bonds left with 2 bonds, therefore 2 hydrogen atoms we need to substitute. And what about on the 6th carbon? So on a 6th carbon, it forms only 1 bond, so therefore it is left with 3 valency, therefore we need to fill it with 3 hydrogen atoms. After placing the multiple bonds, functional group and the substituent group, we need to fill the carbon skeleton with appropriate number of hydrogen atoms so that each carbon should satisfy its tetravalency. So number of bonds ಎಷ್ಟು ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಉಳಿದಿರೋ ವ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಿನ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು by using appropriate number of hydrogen atoms. Now rewrite the compound here. I'll write here CH3, correct? CH2, CHCl, CH double bond CH, CH2OH. This is the compound. See here, CH3, CH2, CHCl, CH double bond CH, CH2OH. So I have written in a condensed formula CH3, CH2, CHCl, CH double bond CH, CH2Cl. If you name this compound means you will get the same name here. So select the carbon chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 chloro hex 2 in 1 all. The same name you will get, and this is how to write the structural formula for the given IUPAC name of the compound. So while writing the structural formula, first step is you should look at the root word first the root word including that carbon if there is a carbon containing functional group, that you have to remember. So on the basis of root word, first step is to write the carbon skeleton, and we need to number the carbon atoms of the carbon skeleton from one end to the another end. Second step, we need to place the multiple bonds on the basis of primary suffix. And the third step, we need to identify the functional group on the basis of secondary suffix, and we have to place the functional group on an appropriate carbon atom. And fourth step is on the basis of prefix, we have to place the substituent group on a particular carbon atom in a carbon skeleton. And the last step is we need to fill the carbon skeleton by using appropriate number of hydrogen atoms so that each carbon atom should satisfy tetravalency. And this is about writing the structural formula for the given IUPAC name. Okay. Now, let us move on to few more examples how to write the structural formula for the given compound. So, take few more examples for writing the structural formula. Write on the next example. So, take on the second example. That is 2-chloro pentane 1-ol, 2-chloro pentane 1-ol. So, now I will write the structural formula for this. First is you need to write the carbon skeleton. Pent is the root word, therefore I have given 5 carbon atoms here. Pent for 5 carbon atoms, and number the carbon atoms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correct. And An, primary suffix is An, therefore only single bonds are between the carbon atoms. Secondary suffix is 1Al. Al is the secondary suffix for aldehyde functional group. Therefore, on the first carbon we have aldehyde functional group. Convert this carbon atom, the first carbon atom itself as a functional group CHO. CHO is the functional group of Al, that is aldehyde. So, hagagi functional group ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಅದರ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್, ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ the functional group also. CHO, that is at the first carbon we have Al, therefore 1Al means first carbon itself is a CHO, because this is a carbon containing terminal functional group and it is included in the root word. Root word alli aa carbon kuda consider madirodrinda we need to write it as CHO. Clear? Now move on to the prefix. Prefix is 2-chloro. On the second carbon we have chlorine. Correct? Now fill the carbon skeleton with the appropriate number of hydrogen atoms. Iga CHO ide, you know the structural formula. Ee carbon ige hydrogen baribeka baribardo, that you have to consider. No, already this carbon atom satisfies its the tetravalency. Iga structure barkondre nimige gottagutte. C double bond OH, that is the structural formula of aldehyde functional group. Houda? So this is the structural formula of aldehyde functional group ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ already the carbon atom of the aldehyde functional group satisfied with the tetravalency. Now fill this carbon with 1 hydrogen, as it is forming 3 bonds, it forming only 2 bonds, therefore 2 hydrogen atoms, 2 bonds. So left with 2 hydrogen atoms, and here it is forming only 1 bond, so it is left with 3 hydrogen atoms. Now rewrite this: CH3, CH2, CH2, CHCl, CHO. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the molecular formula of the compound. Move on to the second example. Higgs 2-ene 1-oic acid. So the third example, Higgs 2-ene 1-oic acid. Higgs 2-ene 1-oic acid. What is the root word? Higgs is the root word. Means how many carbon atoms we need to write? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And number the carbon atom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the primary suffix? 2-ene. Between second and third carbon, we have to place the double bond 2-ene. Correct? Now, 1-oic acid. On the first carbon, we have COOH group. C double bond OH. I will write the structural formula itself so that you can see the tetravalency of this carbon is already satisfied. 1, 2, 3, 4. Already it is satisfied. The tetravalency already satisfied. Now, no prefix here. Now, fill the carbon skeleton with the hydrogen. 3 bonds. Only 1 hydrogen. 3 bonds. Only 1 hydrogen. 2 bonds. 1 and 2. Left with the 2 bonds. 2 hydrogen. So, 2 hydrogen atoms and 3 hydrogen atoms, as it forming only 1 bond. Then what is the molecular formula? CH3, CH2, CH2, CH double bond CH, COOH. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that is the molecular formula of, or the structural formula of Higgs 2-ene 1-oic acid. Now move on to the next example. Fourth one, that is 4-ethyl 4-ethyl 2,3 dimethyl 2,3 dimethyl heptane. So 4-ethyl 2,3 dimethyl heptane. Very simple compound. So 7 carbon atoms we need to write. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hept is there. Correct? Give the number from this end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the primary suffix is ane. Therefore, no double or a triple bonds. And secondary suffix is also not there in a compound. So, there is no functional group here. But prefixes are there. That is 4-ethyl. On the 4th carbon we have ethyl group C2H5. On 2nd and 3rd carbon we have methyl group. Correct? Now, fill the carbon skeleton with the appropriate number of hydrogen. Since it forming only 1 bond, we need to fill it with 3 hydrogen atoms. And here is 1 hydrogen, 1 hydrogen, 1 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms, and here 3 hydrogen atoms. Terminal position, always it is 3 hydrogen atoms. If it is not, get substituted. So CH3, CH2, CH2, CH, C2H5, CH, CH3, CH, CH3, CH3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4-ethyl 2,3 dimethyl heptane is the name of the compound. Now move on to the next one. Oct-3-ene 3-ene Fifth example, fifth one, oct 3-ene, that is 2-one, 3-ene, 2-one, oct 3-ene, 2-one, oct, root word is oct, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, correct? Now, what is the primary suffix? 3-ene, means between third and fourth carbon we have double bond. Place the double bond between third and fourth carbon, 3-ene, 2-one. On the second carbon we have one. One is the functional group of ketone. So, write the ketone group C double bond O. That is the structure of ketone functional group. Now, fill the carbon skeleton with the appropriate number of hydrogen atoms because no prefixes are there, therefore no substituent. So, 3 hydrogen atoms. Already the second carbon satisfies its tetravalency 1, 2, 3, 4. Need not to add the hydrogen. And for third carbon 1 hydrogen, fourth carbon 1 hydrogen, already they are forming 3 bonds. And the fifth carbon 2 hydrogen atoms, sixth 2 hydrogen atoms, seventh 2 hydrogen atoms, eighth carbon 3 hydrogen atoms. Now rewrite this: CH3, CH2, 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 CH double bond CH, CO CH3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, see, this is the structure of oct 3-ene 2-one. Okay. Now, let us move on to one more example. The last example, 3-formyl, sixth one, 3-formyl, 4-hydroxy, 3-formyl 4-hydroxy heptanyl chloride, heptanyl chloride. So, look at the name, what's given? The compound is 3-formyl 4-hydroxy heptanyl chloride. Now, move on to the root word. Hept is the root word, an is the primary suffix, heptane, no only single bond between the carbon atoms, therefore. So, write the carbon skeleton first on the basis of root word. Hept is the carbon skeleton containing 7 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 carbon atoms, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And give the number from one end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, since primary suffix an is there, it means to say only single bond between the carbon atoms. What is the secondary suffix? Oil chloride. Oil chloride, it is on the first carbon because when locant is not there means it is understood that the locant is 1. On the first carbon itself we have oil chloride, acid chloride. Since acid chloride is a carbon containing terminal functional group, it always gets the locant 1 here. So, therefore, you convert the carbon 1 as acid chloride COCl, COCl, that is C double bond OCl is the structure. You can write the structure also, C double bond OCl. Okay, this is the acid chloride functional group, acid chloride functional group, that is C double bond O Cl. Clear? Now, what is the prefixes? Prefixes here is 3-formyl. Formyl is the prefix for aldehyde functional group. Andre acid chloride ಜೊತೆಗೆ aldehyde functional group ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ formyl. And remember, the carbon atom of the aldehyde is not considered to the root word. So, on third carbon we have aldehyde functional group CHO, and we have not given any number to the carbon atom because we should not consider the carbon atom of aldehyde now, because it is a substituent group now according to the priority. Now, 4-hydroxy. On the fourth carbon we have OH group, 4-hydroxy. So, you can also write here OH, here also you can write OH. Now, fill the carbon atoms with the appropriate number of hydrogen. So, 2 hydrogen atoms here, and here is only 1 hydrogen. Already it is forming 3 bonds, and here it is 1 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms, and it is with 3 hydrogen atoms. Now, you rewrite the compound CH3, CH2, CH2, CHOH, CHOH, CHCHO, CHCHO, CH2, COCl. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See here, 3-formyl, 4-hydroxy, heptane, oil chloride, 1 oil chloride or heptanoyl chloride, that is the IUPAC name. So, this is how we can write the structural formula for the given IUPAC name of the compound. Okay, so this is very important. Once you know the rules how to write the structural formula for the given IUPAC name of the compound, it is very easy to write the equations and also the formula for structural formula for the given IUPAC name, and practice few more examples so that you can thorough with this concept. Okay, so it completes the first part of the some basic principles and techniques, that is naming of the organic compounds. Till now I have given the IUPAC name of aliphatic, alicyclic compounds and also aromatic compounds, and how to write the structural formula for the given IUPAC name. So, listen here, in first chapter of organic chemistry, that is some basic principles and techniques, we have 3 parts. First part is the naming of the compounds and the bond line formula, all these comes under first part, and the second part starts from general organic chemistry, that is GOC, general organic chemistry, and where we have different concepts, and the third part is purification, detection and the estimation. So, we have 3 parts in some basic principles and the techniques, and this is this chapter is itself is very important, and these concepts are very important. So, let us move on to one more topic in this part, that is naming of bicyclic compounds. That is not there for your board syllabus, but in JEE exams or the NEET exams, you can come with the IUPAC naming of bicyclic compounds. So, and also some naming of some special compounds, and this is for your competitive part. So, let us move on to the next one, naming of bicyclic compounds and some special compounds. So, in the next class, let us consider the some competitive part of this unit, this part of the unit, that is naming of the compounds. that is bicyclic compounds. Naming of bicyclic compounds. Naming of bicyclic compounds. Just I will give the introduction for this. Naming of bicyclic compounds. Let me give what do you mean by bicyclic compounds. The name itself suggests that the compounds containing two cyclic rings. If compounds containing two cyclic rings, then they are called bicyclic compounds. So, the compounds which are containing two cyclic rings are nothing but bicyclic compounds. There are three types of bicyclic compounds. Three types. What are those? First one is spiro bicyclic compounds. Then fused bicyclic compounds. Fused bicyclic compounds. Third one is bridged bicyclic compounds. So, bicyclic compounds are of three types. What are those? Spiro bicyclic compounds, fused bicyclic compounds, bridged bicyclic compounds. What do you mean by spiro bicyclic compounds? See here, this is an example for spiro bicyclic compound. This is spiro. And what do you mean by fused? Fused bicyclic compound. This is fused. Okay. Now, what do you mean by bridged bicyclic compounds? So, this is bridged bicyclic compounds. Now, in all the three types, we have two cyclic rings, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But depending on how many carbon atoms are common between the two cyclic rings, we can classify it into three types: spiro, fused, bridged. ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ತುಂಬ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಇದೆ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಆಟಮ್ಸ್ ಎರಡು ರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಕಾಮನ್ ಇದೆ. On the basis of that, you can classify it as spiro, fused, bridged. In spiro, only one carbon atom. This is called bridge. Bridge head carbon, and these are called bridge carbon. Bridge carbon means it gives a bridge for two cyclic rings, that is bridge carbon, and this is called bridge head carbon. So, what is the bridge head carbon? So, this is bridge carbon and this is bridge head carbon. So, this is bridge head carbon. Here only one bridge head carbon is there between the two cyclic rings. So, this is a bridge head carbon. Only one bridge head carbon. Bridge head carbon is between the two cyclic rings, and this bridge head carbon is quaternary carbon. See here, this carbon is bonded to 4 other carbon atoms in spiro bicyclic compounds. In spiro bicyclic compounds, the two cyclic rings are combined through only one carbon. Only one bridge head carbon between the two cyclic rings, and that carbon is the quaternary carbon. That carbon is the quaternary carbon, and whatever the carbon atoms present, they are called bridge carbon atoms. So, how many bridge carbon atoms are there? 2 bridge carbon atoms are there, and in this cyclic ring and this cyclic ring containing 3 bridge carbon atoms. So, the second one is fused bicyclic compounds. So, in case of fused bicyclic compounds, the two carbon atoms are there as a bridgehead carbon atoms. So, see here, there are two carbon atoms are there as a bridgehead carbon atoms, and the two carbon atoms are common between the two cyclic rings. So, the two rings are joined through two bridgehead carbon atoms, then they are called what? Fused bicyclic compounds. If the bridgehead carbon atoms are more than 2, then they are called bridged bicyclic compounds. See here, between these two cyclic ring, 1, 2, 3, there are 3 bridgehead carbon atoms. So, in spiro compounds, only one bridge head carbon atom, and in fused there are 2 bridge head carbon atoms. If more than 2 bridge head carbon atoms, then they are called what? Then they are called bridged bicyclic compounds. So, bicyclic compounds are classified into 3 types: spiro bicyclic, fused bicyclic, and bridged bicyclic compounds, depending on how many carbon atoms are common between the two cyclic rings. If only one carbon is a bridgehead carbon, then it is spiro. If 2 bridgehead carbon atoms are there, then it is fused. If 3 bridgehead carbon atoms are there, then it is what? Fused bicyclic compounds. Here it is only one bridgehead carbon atom. So, this is about the classification of bicyclic compounds. So, in the next class, let us consider how to name these bicyclic compounds. What are the rules that we had to follow while naming these bicyclic compounds in the next class. Okay. So, this concept is for your JEE and NEET. Mainly in JEE, this is important for your JEE exam. Okay. So, naming of bicyclic compounds is important for your JEE exams. Okay. So, this is about the naming of bicyclic compounds. So, let us consider how to name the bicyclic compounds in the next class. Just I have given an introduction that what are the types of bicyclic compounds and what are bicyclic compounds. So, the compounds containing 2 cyclic rings, depending on the number of bridgehead carbon or the carbon atoms common to the 2 cyclic rings, we can classify it into 3 types. Okay. Now, let us move on to the naming in the next class.